The dream of flying on muscle alone. Humans dreamed of flying long before we understood aerodynamics. Leonardo da Vinci famously sketched flying machines powered by human muscles. The problem was fundamental. Humans have a terrible power-to-weight ratio compared with flying animals. A reasonably fit person can continuously produce only a few hundred watts. A trained cyclist can produce considerably more for short periods, but that still isn't much when you're trying to lift a person, a pilot-powered drivetrain, and an aircraft. So the solution wasn't to make humans stronger. It was to make the airplane almost absurdly light and aerodynamically efficient. The first great breakthrough, the Gossamer Condor. In 1959, British industrialist Henry Creamer offered a prize for the first successful human-powered aircraft, capable of completing a demanding figure-8 course. For years, people tried. Then American aeronautical engineer Paul MacCready approached the problem differently. Instead of building something resembling a conventional airplane, his team built an enormous, incredibly lightweight aircraft from materials including aluminum tubing, plastic film, wire, and foam. It looked more like an oversized model airplane than something you'd willingly climb aboard. The pilot provided power by pedaling. On August 23, 1977, cyclist and hang glider pilot Brian Allen flew the Gossamer Condor around the required figure-8 course in California. Human-powered flight had gone from experimental curiosity to demonstrated practical reality. Then they crossed the English Channel. MacCready's team wasn't finished. They developed the much more capable Gossamer Albatross, with a wingspan of roughly 96 feet while weighing only around 70 pounds empty. Think about that combination. Its wingspan approached that of a commercial airliner, yet the airplane itself weighed less than many adult humans. On June 12, 1979, Brian Allen pedaled the Gossamer Albatross across the English Channel from England to France. The flight covered roughly 22 miles and took just under 3 hours. There was no gasoline engine, no electric motor. The engine was Brian Allen. His legs turned pedals, the pedals drove a large propeller, and careful aerodynamic design converted that tiny amount of available human power into sustained flight. And then people started asking, how far can we go? The answer became astonishing. MIT students and faculty developed a succession of human-powered aircraft culminating in the Daedalus 88. On April 23, 1988, Greek cyclist Kanellos Kanellopoulos took off from Crete and flew towards Santorini. He remained airborne for nearly 4 hours and traveled about 72 miles. He almost made it all the way. The aircraft finally came down in the sea only a short distance from the beach after turbulence damaged it. That flight remains one of the extraordinary achievements of human-powered aviation. And then somebody said, okay, what about a helicopter? This is where the story gets wonderfully unreasonable. An airplane can use enormous wings and forward motion to generate lift efficiently. A helicopter has to generate essentially all of its lift by continuously pushing air downward. Doing that with human muscles is vastly harder. The Sikorsky Prize, established in 1980, offered $250,000 for a human-powered helicopter that could remain airborne for at least 60 seconds, reach approximately 10 feet high, and stay within a defined area. Nobody managed it for more than 3 decades. Then came the Aero Velo Atlas. Atlas didn't resemble a normal helicopter. It was gigantic. 4 enormous rotors stretched across a machine approximately 154 feet wide. Yet the structure weighed only about 120 pounds. The pilot sat on what was essentially a bicycle mechanism at the center and pedaled furiously. On June 13, 2013, Canadian cyclist Todd Reichert powered Atlas into the air. It stayed airborne for 64.11 seconds and reached approximately 11 feet. After 33 years, the Sikorsky Prize had finally been won. And I think that's the part of this history I particularly enjoy. Human-powered aviation repeatedly succeeds by doing the opposite of what intuition suggests. You don't overcome the weakness of the human engine by building a stronger airplane. You build an airplane that requires almost no engine. The machines become enormous, fragile, slow, and astonishingly light. Every unnecessary ounce becomes the enemy. Aerodynamic drag becomes the enemy. Mechanical inefficiency becomes the enemy. And eventually you've eliminated so many inefficiencies that a human being sitting there pedaling a bicycle can look down and realize the ground isn't underneath the wheels anymore.